LMU is located in Silicon Beach, Los Angeles.
And you might remember or recognize this guy right here, President Timothy
Tim
Snyder.
We ask you that you allow your creativity and your compassion to soar.
We are artists, lawyers, and entrepreneurs.
We welcome you warmly.
We lead for the common good.
We seek to create the world we want to live in.
Go Lions!
Just when I was about to finish this project on May 2nd, LMU announced that it would be raising tuition by 5.4%, bringing tuition to about $57,602. Remember this fact for the rest of these episodes and ask yourself, where is that money going? Alright then, let's go back to the original opening for this video. October 20th, 2022. The student newspaper of Loyola Marymount University uploaded an article regarding the purchase of an almost 5,000 square foot house coming in at a price of $5.75 million, according to Zillow and other realty sites. Let that sink in. $5.75 million. Pause the video now or go to the Zillow link in the video description and check out the amenities that come with this mansion, which includes 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, custom Italian porcelain flooring, a home theater, along with many more luxuries one could only dream of. And sure, many other universities have similar houses for similar purposes of hosting high-level events for administration, but there are other, more pressing issues that need to be addressed first before the school can spend over $5 million on a house for Timothy Snyder. Following the announcement, LMU's administration was bombarded by critics, many of them students, for this outrageous purchase. Many of them cited this as a hugely irresponsible use of LMU's budget, especially with the ongoing controversial issue of underpaid Sodexo and facilities management workers. So when the $5.75 million mansion was purchased, people were frustrated that LMU's budget was going towards a fancy mansion for Timothy Snyder when that money could have easily been distributed elsewhere. With this issue of LMU's budget being brought up more on campus, I approached a bunch of random LMU students to ask them about issues that the budget could be better spent on. Here are some of them.
More money for the Sodexo workers, and also just better food in general, but I feel like they could spend more on healthier foods and better quality foods. And then also, I don't know if this has to do with money, but the student disability services is really hard to access and really hard to get accommodations, and I don't know if it's well funded or same with student psychological services, so yeah.
Definitely for me, I would want to see the budget fall more into places to eat. I do notice that the places to eat around campus are kind of scarce.
And then also in terms of parking, I know that's been a big thing, and Loyola just published something about how there's thousands of more cars registered than the spots on campus. So I just think, honestly, to infrastructure would be a great way to allocate the budget a little bit better.
ASLMU is given a certain budget, and it's been pretty consistent the way it's been delegated over the years, but ultimately the amount of money they're given is the amount they can kind of go off with. So I think definitely there's a need for a little bit more, and I think there's also a big need for transparency. That's something that a lot of people felt when they saw that big purchase of the $6 million house, is a need for transparency, because this is money that you're paying for an institution that's supposed to be giving you resources. So seeing where that money goes, I think, matters to students.
I also think as a Jesuit school, giving back to the community around us is really important. The people that live in this community is a big part.
For sure.
Especially because they make so much money, and as students here, not all of us need that money to go directly towards us, so indirectly going towards the community and those in our community that need it more.
Also help students more with financial aid, because I know some students might not even be able to come back next semester due to that. And also maybe reducing the costs of food, because it's very expensive.
I agree.
AC, because too many of the dorms don't have AC, and that heat wave was so bad. Yeah. And then, especially being freshmen, our first perspective of LMU was that it was hot and that we didn't have AC.
AC would be nice in the buildings. Also, most of this carpet and stuff's really old and gross, so it'd be nice to be clean in your living space.
Also, like, I'm a part of Model UN, and like the clubs need more money. We were supposed to hold our own Model UN conference and we weren't able to. We were supposed to go to a conference. We're going in a couple weeks and we could only bring 8 people. And all of us kind of had to chip in for that because there wasn't enough of a budget for the club to actually take everyone who wanted to go.
From broken AC units to the lack of transparency, and of course, the big one on people's minds.
Pay the workers a little bit more. I feel like they're the backbone. It's like, checking out food and whatnot, and keeping our campus beautiful. I feel like they keep everything running, and they should be getting paid a livable wage and then some.
For quick context, the topic of underpaid and poor work environments has been ongoing since even before COVID. Advocates for LMU workers argue that the base hourly pay for workers is significantly less than what the workers actually deserve, especially for the tough working conditions being set by their bosses. In October of 2022, the Loyolan uploaded an interview with 2 workers hired under Sodexo, who, in the video, described their experience working with Sodexo.
When I was brought on, it was literally get to work. So I had to learn as I was working. I didn't get sat down with orientation, training, none of that. It was literally get straight to it.
3 weeks of no pay, and then finally the 3rd week came. I literally had to give them an ultimatum. I'm gonna quit that day if they don't pay me. So they basically had to force me a check and manually give me one, or else they were gonna give me the runaround another week. And I don't know about you.
In another interview conducted by the Instagram page Sign It Sodexo, the layer worker Isidro Lopez states that if they, or Sodexo, wanted to fire you, they would fire you. They wanted to take hours away from you, they took them away from you. I know the company appears to be one thing with the university, but the company with the workers is another. From Irma Placencia, I like my job. The problem with my job is that sometimes I can't make ends meet. For rent, for other necessary expenses. It's a big sacrifice. I honestly witnessed so many injustices here at work. Since this company entered, there were things I did not like and they did not respect us. I was one of those women. I watched, heard, and was silent. I will not stand for that. With these conditions, the LMU community has been advocating for wage increases for months, and negotiations are still being conducted as of the making of this video. An important fact I do need to clarify is that Sodexo workers are not paid directly by LMU, but by Sodexo itself, which is why these negotiations are still taking place. The wage increases that I am about to talk about are only reflected in facilities and other LMU workers that are not employed by Sodexo. So while the fight for wages is making progress for LMU workers, we still have a ways to go for Sodexo workers. Again, this has been an ongoing issue since before the pandemic in 2020. Before August of 2022, the rate was still set at $16 an hour. Eventually, on August 31st, the rate was increased to $19.15 an hour after continued pressure from the community. While this was a victory for LMU workers, negotiations and protests continued on until October 25th, 2022. 5 days after the announcement of Snyder's Mansion, LMU announced that it would raise the wages for underpaid workers to $21. This was right after the intense backlash against the mansion. Many users online called out this announcement as a shallow and desperate attempt to shift attention away from this outrageously expensive mansion, and seems to demonstrate that LMU's administration prioritizes its public image over anything else. It took several protests and the backlash of the mansion to finally bring hourly pay to $21. However, this increase should not be the end. The workers here deserve not just better wages, but recognition for their commitment. There are workers here at LMU who feel like they are a part of the community, and we do not want to lose those who feel dedicated to the university. Going back to the Sign It Sodexo page, Isidro Lopez says that, I have worked at LMU for 30 years and at other places with the same company. I am here because I like the job. I like serving the students. They have been very good to us. From Maria Elena Ramos, my favorite part of work, it's everything. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's all the same for me. I like it all. If there is work, all is well. I like to work, help the students, and feel like I'm a part of something. And also, listen to this clip from facilities worker Brian Aldridge, who has worked at LMU for almost 13 years.
So I'm pretty much all over the place. Most of the time, people don't see me because I'm either on the roof fixing something or in a basement fixing something. I really enjoy putting on my uniform every day. and coming home with a sore back or my hands hurting because I've been working so hard, that it lets me know that I'm giving back to the community, especially for students like yourself. My son has the opportunity to come here to LMU, Loyola Marymount University. He's half Chilean, and he plays water polo for the university. So it just so happened, one Monday they called me and were like, hey, you can take care of the pool too? And I was like, sure. And so now I get to see my son play water polo during the day as I'm working.
I don't want this piece to entirely be an anti-LMU essay. For students, workers, and other faculty, LMU is a great place to learn, to have new experiences, and to build new relationships. But we have a lot more work to do if we want to grow the community into something better than it was before. But unfortunately, while workers at LMU are facing their own issues regarding wages and the budget, there is another issue being discussed regarding the budget and other administrative decisions, and it goes beyond just broken AC and other improvements to infrastructure.